Yo, what is up guys and welcome back to another video. It's your boy Alvin Michael back at you this time with the F1 2021 video. We are back at it and today we're starting a new series. It's called F2 to F1 where basically we go from Formula 2 to Formula 1. That is the goal at the end of the day. So, my name is Alvin Michael and you're watching OMFGitsAlvinM. I forgot my username. OMFGitsAlvinM _ right? Right, so without further ado, let us get right onto the video. Sub, like, share, do whatever you want to do. And welcome to the channel if you're here for the first time. We do play a lot of F1 games. Right, so on to the qualifying lap. So I chose ART as a team because it was the only team that I actually knew from F2. I'm not really an active F2 watcher, but I have heard of Prema, and then there's ART, Mazepin's team, that I forgot the name. So down into turn 1, we do lock up a little bit, but you know, I wasn't really too keen about this qualifying because it was my first time ever driving on an F2 car on this track without a setup. So there I accidentally pressed my change camera button and I was a bit disorientated, but we managed to save it, not losing too much time to the Ghost that's ahead of us. The Ghost is actually the pace setter. The Ghost is basically the person on pole. So if I'm ahead of the Ghost, I'm on pole. Even behind it, I am behind the pole position person, right? So down into this turn, we do get a little bit of understeer again. We don't have a setup, right? So without having a setup, our car isn't really customized for this track specifically. So we do experience a little bit of grip losses, oversteer, understeer, the usuals, the stuff that every racing driver just detests with all his heart, right? So down into the back straight, we do get a good exit out of this. We try to go a little bit wide to maximize the entry speed, but at the same time we don't have a setup that is strong enough to hold on to the grip of the curbs, so we do end up losing a little bit of time there as well. We do set a purple sector 2, which was amazing, honestly, because you know, again, I'm gonna use it as an excuse, we don't have a custom setup. So this was just the generic setup that they give you. I think I put it to balanced. Front wing was 8, I believe. Back wing was 5. Suspension, geometry, all those things weren't touched. They were pretty much stock. So we come to cross the line and we do finish at P9. P9, ladies and gentlemen, for our debut qualifying in the F2 season calendar race, whatever you want to call it. We finished P9. So we're going to start P9 in the feature race, which is a good position to start from, given that we could fight up for the positions, but we don't have much to lose at the back, given that the cars are pretty much almost equal. Right, so I'm going to let you guys listen to this F1 guy as he tells you the grid lineups, and I'll see you at the end of it.
Plenty of opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit for these young F2 drivers to show what they can do. The best passing opportunity right up there at turn 1, and we should see plenty of action there. But there's another not long after at turn 4. There are 9 right-handers, 6 left-handers, and the possibility that we could see some flat spots at the tightest of those left-handers. That's turn 10. Davide, you're a 3-time winner around here in 1 week, I believe, back in 2012. How on earth do you make the tyres last around this racetrack? They degrade so quickly.
To be honest, the key to the race is having a good start so you can get your car into a good position. Then save the tires as much as you can and push just at the end.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's results with a look at the starting grid. Mick Schumacher lines up on pole position, and it's Jen Deruvela in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Piquet, Tsunoda, Robert Schwartzman, and Giotto, Ilott, Matsushita, the captain, Jack Aitken, Armstrong, Ticktum, Nikita Mazepin, and Sato, Joe, Dragovic, Alesi, and Artem Markelov. Samaya, Delatraz, Nissani, and Sean Galeal completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Right, so we are onto the track, ready for the first race at the Bahrain Grand Prix Circuit GP track. Behind us we have Aitken, in front of us we have Masusita, and it is 5 lights, and away we go. We get a decent start, jumping the start just a little bit. It wasn't really much of a great start, but it was decent enough to catch up to the guy in front of us, which is Aitken. Aitken did get a worse launch than us down the outside. We tried to go on the outside, but Sonoda catches us out there and forces us to go a little bit deep into the corner. And then we do get ahead of Kyoto there as we benefit from Sonoda pushing him off a little bit. I mean, not much to say about the start. It was decent. Ahead of us we have Sonoda, so we do go for the dive bomb, thinking that we could slow the car down just in time to make the turn, but we do again miss it completely, and Sonoda gets back ahead of us, which serves as a waste of time because we could have let him go and catch PK, but instead we slowed him down and ourselves down trying to catch him instead. Right, so we go down the inside and we do get the move on Sonoda sealed, and we are up into P4 at this point. Down the outside of the track goes PK. Was that the Ruvala? The Ruvala goes off the track, and I mean, that was the last I saw him in this race because he lost a lot of time going out there. In front of us now we have PK, who we hit from the back. That sounds very wrong, but you do not sustain any damage because at this point I forgot actually to change the damage to simulation. It was actually at reduced, and the difficulty is at 95, which I know it's hard to believe given that it looks so easy how I'm rating this AI, but it was actually at 95, which is really hard to race on with the F1 cars. So we do want to make an overtake on PK. We go down the inside of the final turn in Bahrain, making the move stick.
Brilliant. Nice.
Jeff congratulates us, obviously, because that was an amazing move. As you can see the replay, we do move on to the inside and we cover him off pretty much. There was no way he could respond to that. We more or less pushed him off the track as Mick Schumacher sets the fastest lap of this race. So down to lap 4, the end of lap 4 again. Now this is where it got a little bit interesting. Mick Schumacher sets the fastest lap. I set a faster lap, so it was more or less us just bouncing the fastest lap back and forth. As you can see here, the final part of lap 5, lap 6, and Schumacher sets a faster lap. We could not reply to that. We got all red sectors. We got all red sectors. So end of lap 6 again, Mick Schumacher sets the fastest lap. I set the fastest lap. So it was more of a table tennis kind of situation where he sets the faster lap, I bounce it back. He sets the faster lap, he bounces it back. It was amazing. And then this point is where we got a little bit too overconfident, trying to take the curb as much as possible to maximize rotation, and we failed horribly as we go off the track, losing the position to PK, who we battled dearly in the first few laps to overtake. But that's us losing a position. Down into lap 8, this is the final lap. We try to make the position lap. We go down the outside actually of PK as we cover him off into turn 1. We do leave a little bit of space, hoping that he does not run into us. I mean, the move is done, it's sealed, but PK wasn't the person who were meant to be overtaken at this point. It was actually Schumacher, but Schumacher, we lost him due to that mistake we made. As you can see in the replay, we do get a decent overtake. He gets a little bit of snap from the rear. As you can see, he tries to correct it, slamming into the right side of my car. Luckily, again, we had not set it to simulation damage just yet, but in the next few episodes, we do set it to simulation damage. As in lap 8, we seal the move to get past PK. That is P2 for us in this race, given that we do not do any more mistakes. So we do come across the checkered flag, and it is P2 for us, ladies and gentlemen. Our debut race for F2 ART Racing. We finished P2.
You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
That was an amazing race, honestly. I mean, the overtakes were there. We made a lot of positions in the first corners, given that people are still squabbling to seal their foundations. But yeah, P2, give or take, it is an impressive result given that we still don't have a custom setup, and we are at 95 level AI, which is really good. So we shake hands with Schumacher, acknowledging that he really did get the best of us today. And there was nothing that we could throw at him to reply, given that we did have some self-inflicted damage, which was the first one running into the back of PK. Second one was the spin that we had in the start of Sector 2 when we were a bit overconfident with the curbs, right? So, down to the podium celebrations, you can see Schumacher, I think that's PK and myself holding our trophy. Schumacher is really happy. Wait, my name is Michael. His name's Schumacher, right? So, I mean, we have a Michael Schumacher PK podium. Right. So, I really do like the podium celebrations in this game. they feel more alive, but I wish it was possible to control your own player. Right, so looking at the standings, Schumacher leads, Michael leads, PK leads, Sonoda, followed by Giotto, Elliott, Schwarzman, Mazepin, Tictum, and our teammate Marcus Armstrong actually dropped positions from P11 to P13. We went from P9 to P2 and got the fastest lap to seal that incredible drive. Alright, so sprint race.
And we're back. After yesterday's feature race, the top 8 drivers have been reversed on the grid, setting up some exciting action as we launch into today's event, the sprint race. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao Alex, it's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Right, so we are on the grid for the sprint race, which is the top 8 reversed, as you were told by the commentator. Hopefully you did not skip that part. 5 lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. We get an excellent start. In front of us we have PK, again is a recurring character in our battle. Tictum to the right of us as Tictum goes down the dive. Was that Tictum? Was that PK? That's Elliott. Elliott goes down the dive. We are battling Elliott. No, Elliott was on our left. I am so confused. These cars, I do not recognize these cars as per their brand, but Elliott was the person we were fighting for. Now we're fighting for P4 or is it P3? I'm not sure. As you can look at the replay, we were squeezed, more or less sandwiched, given why I was a bit confused because there was contact left, right and center, and I did not know who exactly hit me. I didn't know which way to go exactly, but we do manage to get a decent start off the start straight. Down into the inside we go, covering off Elliott, pushing him a bit wide just to make sure that we seal the position. Now we start lap 2. Robert Schwarzman sets the fastest lap of the race. I assume he's leading because he set the fastest lap. Okay, so in front of us we have Giotto, and Giotto is a renowned driver because I think I've faced him before. I don't think I faced him in the feature race, did I? No, that was that Giotto? Was that PK? I'm so confused. These drivers' names are confusing. Right, so we're following Giotto at this point. As you can see, the delta is just falling. We get closer, but we don't get close enough. These cars have an amazing capability of following other cars without losing a lot of downforce compared to F1 cars. So we think about a move down the inside, but we do go to the left side of the track. Going wide for the outside overtake. Do we seal it? I mean, more or less we do, but we have the racing line pushing Elliott a bit off. No, that was Giotto, pushing Giotto a little bit off the racing line. As you can see the replay, we do get a little bit scopsy there. We could have left him a bit more space, given that we pushed him off the racing line entirely, given the angle that we were approaching from. He had to correct a little bit, which I mean, no damage was done, so we all go home with smiles. Right, so in front of us now we have Mazepin. Mazepin is a world-class driver that we're facing. As we set a purple sector 2, we get a decent exit out of that turn. Now right on the back of Nikita Mazepin. Do we go for the inside? Do we go for the outside? Thinking about it, we think about both options, but we do stick to the left side of the track, hoping to go for another wide overtake, which seems to be our specialty, the outside overtakes, but we do not make it stick. Mazepin gets a better exit than us. We were thinking about the switcheroo, but he did not go deep enough, so we lost a little bit of time, but we did get the fastest lap there. Now we have slipstream, we have DRS, and we are on the rear of Mazepin as we think about going on the outside again, and we still don't make it stick, forcing us to come back to the racing line to get a better exit to challenge him into that turn, but we do not. So here we think about going for the dive bomb, and we seal it this time because around the outside we've tried a lot of times, but we could not overtake Mazepin. So here I actually forget to brake. I was looking at my tire temperatures and I just lost it completely. But we do manage to recover P3, as you can see the replay. I mean, we were on the racing line pretty much, but we didn't brake early enough, forcing us to outbrake ourselves literally. going off the track. At least we didn't hit the wall. That would have been a very sad end to us. It's an amazing race, because this race was amazing given the overtakes and all the battles we've been having. So now we're right on the rear of Nikita Mazepin, thinking about going onto the inside line this time, because around the outside it's failed multiple times, but we do somehow overshoot it again, given that we've done that before. But now it's literally a drag race to the start straight. I do get DRS, so I have a better exit compared to Mazepin. I have more straight line speed. I cover him off as soon as I can, making sure that there's no attempt of dive bombs. So this sped up footage is us chasing Schwartzman. As you can see, we're setting purple, 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 but what's interesting is the delta. The delta keeps dropping significantly every single sector, meaning we were literally the fastest on the grid as we set a purple second sector. Coming here, we do set another fastest lap. Schwartzman still ahead of us by 8 tenths, now 2 tenths, as we chase him onto the corner that we lost our brakes the last time, braking early enough this time. Now this is the place where I've noticed AI lose a lot of time. It's this exact corner, they brake a little bit too early. We go down the inside onto the curb literally, but we do have a tire still on track, so not track limit invalidated, not track time, sorry. So looking at the replay, we do think about going following him through, but we see an opportunity, so we dive down the inside, making a successful stick. Luckily enough, we had the grip to actually pull off that corner. As you can see, Schwartzman didn't really have enough pace to reply, as he's already 5 tenths behind us. We swerve left right just to make sure that we break the toe. And it's called doing a Verstappen. You swerve left right to break the toe. Right, so crossing the checkered flag, we have won the sprint race.
Fantastic drive.
In our debut weekend, we have managed to secure P2 in the feature race and come into the sprint race and leave as a winner, right? So that's amazing. And we do get driver of the day again. ART is a team that we might be taking to the top, given that we've had such an excellent start. Look at me up there. Yes, yes, yes. Patch your chest, bro. You are the alpha.
Everyone else out there on the track. We could spend a great deal of time talking about race and tire strategy, what has occurred on the track, but at the end of the day, the difference here was down to simply being faster on track than everyone else. Amazing skill.
Right, so onto the podium now, celebrating for P1 this time. Last time we were in the P2 position. This time it feels very nice being in the P1 position. I think I'm going to have to raise the difficulty a little bit, because 95 is hard, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be much of a challenge. Or maybe it's the track. Maybe in different tracks I'll be absolutely garbage. We're going to wait to find out. But we do splash some champagne on Schwartzman as we congratulate him for allowing us to pass him on the final lap, which was an amazing move to seal. And looking at the standings, Michael leads Schwartzman, leads Mazepin. Mazepin actually started first. So Mazepin is the one who lost a lot in this race. We do have Mitsushita, who started 10th, finished 7th, decent. And our teammate is not even in the top 14. That is unfortunate. But Mick Schumacher, who happens to be our second best in this track after me, is... he's in P10. So, I mean, that is a positive sign given that he is our main rival. I think he's P2 in the standings. But if he continues with that performance, we're going to win this championship in our debut season. All right. Thank you for watching, guys. And I'll see you all in the next episode. Take care and peace.